Alright, welcome and good evening. Welcome to another late night stream of mine. And you see, we are doing U-boat again. So, once more we slip into the role of a German submarine commander in Second World War. And yeah, we are actually doing a deep dive right in the moment. Because at the end of our last stream, we were heavily pursued by the escort of a convoy where we managed to sink one of them. So the great point was we had exactly 2 torpedoes left, and now we are completely empty, and with these 2 torpedoes we sank a C3 after successfully having infiltrated silently into the convoy. And then they gave us quite a beating, dropped a lot of shit upon our heads, but right now it looks like we are getting away. So new stream, so let's give it a new save. And yeah, we are running in complete silence. By the way, to be completely silent, it of course makes sense to also put the dive planes to manual. Alarm is enabled, we are silently running, we have the gyro compass turned off and engines stopped, so we are floating at a little bit more than 200 meters depth. And by the way, let me mention that the only mod that I use is the Deep Leaks mod. And the Deep Leak mods actually results in plenty of minor leaks that you already get as soon as you go below 150 meters. And the deeper you go, the higher probability is that you get something broken. But as with this boat, we already did a lot of test dives. We were able to rule out a lot of weak points and have already fixed a lot of weak points of the boat. And this results in what you see here in this particular mod screen, that we have a readiness of 28%, which means that we are down here at 200 meters and are pretty safe that there will be no sudden surprises. The vanilla game would do nothing. You could just dive, and then at one point at 260, 70, 80 you reach crush depth, and then suddenly it's game over. And the Deep Leaks mod actually, the deeper you go into the red range, the higher the probability becomes that you get that pipe is blowing away, that a gasket gives way, these things. And that's a big plus for realism. Now what about our situation? Oxygen quality is slightly below 70%. Discipline is fine. Batteries are almost fully charged still. And strain and stress on the crew with 18% is okay. Food is alright. You could say, oh, only 2 spare parts left, but what I used to do is I let the engineering officers actually carry as much spare parts with them as they can. So each of them is carrying 5 spare parts, which means that I already have 15 spare parts additionally to what I have in the stores. So here we are. And well, let's take a look at the big picture. It's the beginning of April 1944, so we are already more than 4 years into the war, and that's what I do here in this stream. I'm doing the complete playthrough. Having started more than a year ago in real life, playing all the missions from the very beginning, starting somewhere here with small missions in the North Sea, extending to the close Atlantic, finally going to the center of the Atlantic and even reaching so far as to the enemy shores on the other side of the big pond. Having come back down the Arctic Convoys mission up here, then I went through the passage of the Strait of Gibraltar and finished this Mediterranean mission, and now we are doing what is called the Last Stand mission set, and we just need something like 4,000 tons to fulfill the first level of this mission set. And yeah, these 4,000 tons we should get from that ship that we did sink from this convoy. We just didn't yet get accounted for it. It must be somewhere here. And my plan is that when we are sure that there is no enemies close anymore, I want to go back and hope that I find proof that we actually did sink that guy. When we had to dive, the last thing we saw was that the crew was abandoning the ship and that it was starting to sink. But obviously no evidence of its actual sinking. So where are the other ships? So that was the path of the convoys. I'm a bit surprised that there is one ship moving away into that direction there. What distance? 5 miles, still relatively close. So I think it's still too early to get back to the surface, but at least all of them seem to be moving away. So we have to be patient down here, maybe for 1 more hour or something, and I hope that we are gonna be left alone. Yeah, let's give it a bit. Guys, you can step away from battle station. Having them all and on battle station, of course, severely increases the stress. Oh, there is a spontaneous leak. So, Mr. Schneider, would you be so kind and care for that leak? What is it? The torpedo loading hatch? No, evacuation hatch is giving us quite some okay. That's quite a flow, quite a big leak actually, but well, at 200 meters there is an enormous pressure on just any leak. Let's just hope that this noise of repairing does not give away our position. So here the readiness is now 29% increased already, because we are exchanging these weak parts and replace them by new ones. Okay, that's a bit of water we have there. I don't know, I have the gut feeling that, yeah, let's just hope that they didn't hear that, but the contacts, they're all still saying that they're moving away. So what we could do at least is, let's have the crew carry the water into the center. That should be making the least noise, other than turning on the pump actually. Yeah, okay, so there. On repairing, Mr. Schneider created one set of scrap metal, and as soon as he has two of them, he can turn them into a new set of replacement parts. So, Mr. Schneider. Yeah. So please get the water out of the engine room. Out of the petty office's mess, actually. Now we should actually see the guy using a bucket. There he comes. And the same here. Yeah, get that water also into the control room, please. Then we have all the water centered in the center bilge in the control room, and we could get it quickly out as soon as we turn on the pump. Hey, weight loss! Good evening. Nice to have you in again. How are you doing? Okay, the 9C can have a conning tower upgrade, okay. Alright, yes. Yeah, and particularly in the beginning of the war, it might still make sense to just stay surfaced and shoot them guys down when they come in. Yeah, there is a bit of water meanwhile in the control room. Yeah, quite a bit of water in the bilge. But let's stay sneaky for now. Yeah, please control the depth. Bring the boat up a bit, please. Maybe even to 180.
Tauchen auf 180 Meter.
Hydrophone, Mr. Hinrich.
Aktuelle Tiefe 205 Meter.
Moving away 6 miles. The other guys. That guy is still relatively close. Time of the day. Yeah, 1 o'clock, it's night time.
Aktuelle Tiefe 195 Meter. Tauchen auf 110.
Yeah, let's slowly get up and give it a bit of time acceleration.
170 Meter. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Some time acceleration.
Ja.
So the closest one being there, 5 miles.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter. 165 Meter. 125 Meter.
Yeah, that should be a big relief for the crew now.
105 Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 165 Grad. 75 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 5. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 165 Grad. 55 Meter. Herr Kaloy. Herr Kapitän.
Yeah, that should do it.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Yeah, but maybe I would still stay underwater for a while because, yeah, of the radar. If I completely get to the surface, I might still be in their radar detection range. Not quite sure how far their radar actually reaches.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter. U-Boot 145 Grad.
So which one is a German submarine? This is really what I don't want to have right now. Another German submarine interfering. Must be somewhere there. Let's give it a save. And get to the surface. I really want to inspect now that. That position where we sank the guy. Let's just hope that we still get accounted for. We sank that guy, and that was a great maneuver. Infiltrating the convoy, firing just the two last torpedoes, and both of them having a hit. Both of them heavy hits. And now, up to now, we didn't yet get accounted for the kill. Oh no! High speed closing in, come on.
Aktuelle Tiefe 10 Meter. Auf Seerohrtiefe.
So please somebody take special care for the depth keeping. And Captain, I want you at the periscope.
Und für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Hey, that can't be. That there is a guy coming back. Three miles.
Kurs setzen.
I'm still silently running. Dive planes to electric. I don't want to broach the surface. Hydrophone. Ah, now they are in the dead angle probably.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 210 Grad.
Distance 3 miles. Hi, Nico. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I had a good afternoon and a nice evening watching a movie with our son. My wife and our daughter, they are still out. They're coming back on Tuesday. So we had a movie. We actually watched that Star Wars movie, Rogue One. And we are back on U-Boat, exactly. So where we stopped 2 days ago, I hope that I was getting now rid of that escort chasing me, and now we have still one mysterious contact which seems to be closing in on us again. Ponton, what could that be? At 300, which would be minus 60, right? What could that be? Minus 60 degrees. Yeah, that could actually be the sinking ship. And now there should be another guy. Any contact at... Oh shit, I can't properly read it. 130 something. That's another German submarine. At 210, which is minus 150. Could be. Now hydrophone.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So my guess is that this is another German submarine
Schraubengeräusch
that we hear there.
220 Grad.
Yeah, the hydrophone guy says that the other contacts are already far away by now. But just a few minutes ago we still had a contact here. Let me show this one here. We still had a contact there, which we don't see right now. So that contact was lost. And it pretty much looks like that's maybe this other German submarine. Hi, yippee up! Nice to have you in again. Good evening. Well, if I look at the time, yeah, it's also good evening for you already, I guess.
Schraubengeräusch. Meinung 245 Grad.
Wow, and Nico, that's a 20 streams streak. Wow, that's great. Thank you very much. A drama class, okay. So what would that mean in drama class? I mean, would you read dramas or would you actually act and play dramas? Come on, let me try it like that. Do I see something? But maybe they're underwater. Are they submerged? Might be. And yeah, I think there is another German submarine in pursuit of that convoy that we just attacked. So, good luck for them. Yeah, that's a great thing. Okay, now there is wreckage around, which is good. And now let's give it another save, and then we are gonna go to the surface. There is this wreckage still there, and I think when I get to the surface I will get accounted for the kill, hopefully. Let's go deck a wash for now, which means that only part of the ballast tanks are gonna be blown, so that we can quickly go down again if something up there would not be quite
Konvoi in Sicht.
up to
Peilung 80 Grad.
our expectations.
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Alkaloid, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Okay, so convoy around. I don't know, might still be that we
Herr Kapitän,
radar contact. Moving away. Let's just hope that we are out of range. So our passive radar detection should have a larger range than their active system, hopefully. But
Auf Seerohrtiefe.
maybe better go down again. To periscope depth. Yeah, and let's go with the snorkel.
auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln. Schnorchel ausfahren. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
That's pretty noisy. There's contacts which sound pretty close. So, ship propeller. Pretty unclear what we have here.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloid?
Come on.
Schnorchel einfahren.
Yeah, let's get the snorkel down again.
Wechseln.
I would really like to figure out where these sounds come from. But maybe that's, yeah, the German submarine on diesel in pursuit of the convoy. Hey, Stadler and Aqua Icing, nice to have you in. Good evening, lads, how are you doing? Yeah, yep, yep, do that. I think that's a good thing. Acting is pretty great. To be on stage, presenting to an audience, yep.
Schraubengeräusch. Heilung 285.
Okay, so yeah, you're better than me then. As I showed you last time, I actually skipped the Weserübung and didn't finish it. I ran out of patience with that one. Ship propeller bearing 285. That would be somewhere there, right? $285, something like 75. Yeah, the escort quests, they were those quests which, yeah, really were, at least I felt them to be a bit of a pain. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the wreck because we did not yet get accounted for the sinking, which we did on the last. There must be a German submarine somewhere rather close, and from the noise, I would say it's on the surface. It's running diesel. Yeah, but in the night maybe it's hard to see, hard to find. But it should be pretty close by now.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 485 Grad.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Come on, turn on the pump. We want to have the water out of the boat.
Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Don't want to get wet feet anymore. Okay, so you don't return back to port, but you can actually get the next mission via radio. Yeah, in the past I sometimes had that feeling that this was a bit bugged, but maybe they fixed it.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 80 Grad. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
let's go deck a wash again. The legendary Enigma radio. Yeah, exactly.
Konvoi in Sichtung. Peilung 80 Grad. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Alright. So now I think we finally got accounted for the kill. Very good. But so that was a relatively small one. It was a C3. I was not aware that there are so small C3s with less than 5,000 tons. Okay, a small C3. Yeah, we are almost there, yeah, but not in this mission. We don't have a single torpedo left. Yeah, of course, if we are lucky, we might run into an unarmed transport. What about the survivors? Lifeboat 1, lifeboat 2. Yeah, we have the order to only save officers. Lifeboat 3. 1, 2. Get them on board. And what about the floating container? Valuables, whatever that might be. Yeah, I think I see what you mean, yeah. Wow. Valuables. Get them. I'm a bit nervous about this propeller sound that I hear, but I hope. Come on, surface the ship. I can't get that cargo from the deck otherwise when I'm just deck awash, obviously. So please get the stuff. Mr. Schultz, our bosun. I've plundered valuables, obviously, yes. That's the very first time that I find stuff like that.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi. Betrachten wir es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Yes, I am. Pretty late in the war by now. Now get the rest. There we go. And let's get back home to La Rochelle.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Captain, just do what you think is advisable. Yeah, 2 days till D-Day. 2 months till D-Day. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Volvolo. Great to have you in. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Saturday. I think you mentioned that you had to work today, right? So your weekend starts tomorrow. Do I have that right in mind? And there is this other German submarine. Somewhere not too far away. But I just don't get eyes on them. So let's man the radio at that point. Can't quite believe that it's just this low amount of tonnage. Yes, Stadler, you mean in your campaign, right? Yep. Circumwalking the Maginot defense line in the north, actually. Yep. Yeah, I remember pictures of my grandfather. I have my grandfather's photo albums. He was a big photographer already back then. He had a tiny little camera with him in the war. And yeah, there is one picture of him and 2 other what is it? Petty officers. So they were mounted on horseback. And in the background you see a destroyed Belgium village. And later, when he actually prepared that photo album, he made a mark underneath that, which was, who would have thought that our German cities would look exactly like that a few years later? That was his remark after the war, when he actually did put the pictures into his photo album. Exactly that picture. Them sitting, being mounted on horseback in a destroyed Belgium village. That was exactly from that time that you just mentioned. Yeah, and he sometimes told I had a good relationship, very good and close relationship to my grandfather, and so he was not a great storyteller of stories from the war, but now and then, in very rare occasions, he mentioned things. And I remember that he once told me once or twice how easy it actually was to get to the Atlantic, and that it kind of felt for him like a big holiday. So there he learned to swim at the shores of the French Atlantic coast. And then, well, at one point he was transferred to the Eastern Front, which just changed anything. Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah, my grandmother died pretty early, and my grandfather, he was with us all week. So when I came from school, my mother had prepared lunch already, and my grandfather had lunch with us together. So I saw him at least 5 times a day, and yeah, we were very close. That's, yeah, looking back, that's just great. And yeah, so the war was never much of a topic for him, but well, when you're together so much, sometimes he kind of delivered one or the other little story from the war. Yeah. Yeah, to quote Frankie Goes to Hollywood, right? War, what is it good for? Nothing at all. Yeah, and still it keeps us fascinated. Well, by the way, let's give it a save now that we got that kill accounted for. W531. Ah, we are still going silent running. So turn on the gyro again. Yeah, exactly, Stadler. That's so, well, surprisingly stupid.
Herr Kapitän. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, Nico, that's well phrased. Exactly, yes. Yep. There's a lot you can learn from history, but you actually have to look at history to do that, yep. Perfectly well chosen words, how you phrase it. I like that. Well, to be honest, I was not pretty good in history lessons, and I don't think that my history lessons were pretty good back then. Because history is so fascinating, but it never caught a grip on me at school. It was only after school that I kind of started to dive into certain things and eras.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
So, Mr. Schulz, please
Station besetzen.
take a look at navigation.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 100
Yeah,
Grad.
that's the things. And what was just happening in that Spanish exclave in north of Morocco, yeah. Ceuta was the name, right? So we have a signal again. We have a radar signal, which is probably... Yeah, Nico! Yeah, okay, alright, but great that you dropped in. So I think, yeah, on Monday I have to get up a little bit earlier, but I think there will be time for a little bit of 1 or 2 hours of streaming tomorrow night as well. So have a good night and see you then. And I am really wondering if it's worthwhile to dive away. Yeah, maybe we should just get back to periscope depth and go by the snorkel.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wow, that radar contact is close, isn't it? But it says that it's moving away. Yep. Yeah, Stadler, they are somehow. That's right. So if my figures are right, this is just that convoy. Being far away. Although it's not quite realistic that I still have them on the radar. That looks a bit buggy. That's far out of the radar range. Maybe I would just... Yeah, come on. Yeah, but that's it. It says it's at least 26 miles away. So...
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 215 Grad.
Wir wurden von einem nahegelegenen U-Boot über ein mögliches Ziel in diesem Gebiet informiert.
Convoy BE 554. BE. Where is BE 5? Is that one? BE 5 5 4. It's there. Yeah, we could give it a mark, but yeah, no torpedoes left, so it doesn't make much sense to go for that convoy. Let's just continue our way back home. Yeah, but I don't know. Can't you accelerate while you're loading from external to internal? I think you could do some time acceleration. Or do you just don't dare because you want to be ready for any surprise?
benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 240 Grad.
Still far away, aren't they?
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 30
Okay,
Grad.
this now is another cup of tea. Now give it a save. That might be something serious. That might be airplanes. I think they are airplanes. Let's go for periscope depth for now. Yeah, exactly. That's what you should do. I always felt that to be pretty hard to actually think these guys on these escort missions.
Herr Kalon, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
So,
Geräusche. Kriegsschiffe. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 260 Grad.
260 degrees, which would be minus 100 degrees, right?
Schraubengeräusch. Kriegsschiff. Peilung 315 Grad.
Interesting.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
A man of war. A lone man of war. There. Single. Yes, yep, good point. Seize the day, yep. I'm never sure. How do we pronounce it? Is it size the day or is it seize the day? Yeah, I know, Stadler. I am a fluent Latin speaker because I read a lot of Asterix comics in my life. Although, I think it might be that this saying actually never occurred in one of the Asterix comics. At least not in the old ones. Yeah, I remember people also changing it to something like carpe noctem.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kalon?
Convoy. Yeah, but no point in trying to follow them. Yeah, I'm a big fan. of these Asterix and Obelix comics. They are the foundation of my history knowledge, actually. So let's set up the snorkel.
Schnorchel ausfahren.
So guys, would you switch to the diesel? Depends a bit how stable we can keep. Good old, yeah. Julius Caesar, yep. Yeah, actually, I had Latin at school even, and in our Latin courses at school, we read that book of Julius Caesar, that war, De Bello Gallico, and it's pretty funny that there is a lot of allusions in the Asterix comics to that book. Okay, having somebody coughing in the boat always makes me a bit nervous. You never know if somebody might have gotten tuberculosis. Let's just hope that we get back home unmolested like that. And give it another save for now. And give me the time acceleration. Here we go. Nobody at the helmsman station. How could that be?
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Funkraum besetzen.
Is there some transmission to listen to?
Ja,
Nothing, obviously.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 260 Grad.
260 degrees would be there. So it's them probably moving that way. But yeah, I'm gonna ignore it. No point in going for a convoy with no torpedoes left.
Ich benötige hier etwas.
At least not when you play at almost 100% difficulty level. Haha, nice. Yeah. I didn't know that one. I only remember the first few words of that book of Julius Caesar, which was like Gallia divisa est, what was it? Gallia et omnia divisa est in tres partes. Gallien als Ganzes ist in 3 Teile unterteilt, aber dann kann ich nicht mehr weiter. Sorry, no, I'm getting mixed up with the languages. Too many languages.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Schraubengeräusche. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung 25 Grad.
So many ships around. Ah, okay, yeah. Mm. Yeah, actually, I'm a Catholic. Yeah, my family is not. I mean, my wife and my kids, they are Protestants, but I'm a Catholic. And when I was the kid, I was, yeah, actively visiting the services for quite a few years. Yeah, but back then almost nothing was done in Latin, at least not in our parish.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 340 Grad. Herr Kaloy?
Oh no, I don't need that. Guys, I don't need you guys closing in on me. But now I even have to take care too. So, convoy.
Herr Kaloy?
Ah, it's a single unit. That's a convoy. And this one, let's delete it. From hydrophone readings, Mr. Hinrich says that this is a single ship. So if this were a single transporter, that would even be a chance to get some more tonnage. But it could also be a single man-o-war. Ah, okay, yes, Bavaria, yeah, they... yes. And I could imagine that in Bavaria they were a bit more conservative also in the services, in the mess. So,
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
1:30. Let's keep that in mind. And please excuse me for being AFK just for 1 minute. And then we have another chase. Who would have thought that? We were on the way back home, but this single ship might still be good prey. Yeah, boundary condition would be that this guy is unarmed, an unarmed trader, because yeah, any trader with 1 or 2 guns on deck is even better armed than us. Yes, yes, Statler, so that's quite good. I mean, we were just before we were talking about war and these conflicts, and yeah, nobody should actually get into a conflict about religion. And although I have a high respect for religion, and well, I might even call myself a believer. Never quite sure about that, but maybe I am. Still, people who are so very kind of strict and rigid about their religion, they kind of make me feel uneasy. So let's go for 1 hour. Should we even get to the surface for the chase?
Kondensstreifen.
Oh.
295 Grad. Alarm. Flugzeug in Sicht. Heilung. 280 Grad. Raus.
So would they spot us? Maybe it would be a good idea to get down
Auf maximale sichere Tiefe gehen.
and dive.
Motoren wechseln.
Alarm.
Tiefe 10 Meter.
And remove the snorkel.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant.
Yeah, when they're that close, you never know. They might have spotted the snorkel, and they were coming right from abaft.
50 Meter.
There is the contrail, is it?
Aktuelle Tiefe 70 Meter.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 20 Grad.
Yeah, I think they just...
Tauchen auf 20 Meter.
Meter.
So that plane was passing by. Yeah, if you look into the past, this is really what people used religion for, right? To exert power on other people and force them to make things according to their liking. But I think in principle, well, I have to stop myself. So it's like there is this saying on the job, no politics and no religion. And yeah, I really shouldn't go into too deep a discussion of religion, but I kind of share your skepticism, and still I wouldn't call myself an atheist. Yes. Yeah.
Meter.
Now getting back to the surface, and
Herr Kapitän?
that guy is closing in. Gonna be curious what this is. Okay, guys, you can step away
Beenden.
from battle station.
20 Meter.
Auf Seerohrtiefe.
Yeah, give us periscope depth again. Yeah, by the way, the stream is pretty crowded. Thank you guys for watching. That's great. So nobody please be afraid. I don't see any names or something. I just see the overall number of people watching. And it's perfectly fine if you just lurk. Just having people watching is already a great reward for a little streamer like me. Nevertheless, let me mention that you could make a little streamer like me even more happy if you drop me a follow if you haven't yet. And particularly happy if you would just give us a hi in the chat. Thumbs up or what you think about the game, about the stream. I'm always curious and I'm so glad. This is actually what I love the most about streaming, except for that it's a nice platform for gaming and share my gaming experience. The other actually is that, yeah, it's so fascinating that you get into contact with people from all over the world. Although, of course, my dear friend Stadler, I'm of course also happy to be in contact with people from my doorstep, to put it like that. But yeah, having people from my home country, from the neighboring countries, and from countries an ocean away, like Tunisia or Canada, for example, where I particularly know that we at the moment have at least one of each of these two countries in the stream. Yeah, and by the way, US just as well. And that's what I really like. You mean the escorting convoy, yeah, your colleagues. Yep. Yeah, the game is a bit unrealistic in one point, which is of course comfortable for us, that you could interrupt the loading of the torpedoes instantly and dive. And in real life, I think you couldn't just dive while you were loading torpedoes. So that was a big risk, probably. If you really would have to dive quickly, you probably would have to throw the torpedoes overboard and get down. Yeah, I never would have thought that. That's pretty clear from your comments that you aren't that. Yeah, I mean, same for me. We are not playing this game because we would have liked to change history or something. We are pretty happy with how history actually came out, and pretty thankful for you guys from the Allied countries to rid us of that madman with the mustache back then. It's much more the fascination of the technology and the kind of human challenge. The fascination. That even when I was a kid and first saw that movie on TV, it fascinated me right away. And this fascination still has its grip on me.
Herr Kaloy?
Now there we are, periscope depth. Let's rig the snorkel again. Ah, come on. I never have that key in mind that I need to unlock, to unselect. These guys.
Schnorchel ausfahren. Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Yeah, get the water out of the bilge, although it's completely uncritical. Here we go. Yes, exactly, yeah. And at that point, it's maybe a little bit unrealistic, I think. In real life, the German submarines never took people on board. Although I think it's not quite true. I think I also heard of incidents when they did. So now, like usual, I want to go for 1 hour and then gonna do a next hydrophone check to get a second data point of their position after 1 hour, and this would give us a good estimate of their course and their speed. Here we are, 1 hour.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanoy?
Yeah, with the diesel on, that's a bit weird. I shouldn't be able to get any hydrophone contact with the diesel on. While being submerged. Okay, there it is. So it's heading more or less straight for me. The single contact. So let's see, what distance did it travel? Ooh, just 3 miles within 1 hour. That's pretty weird. And that's more typical for a fisherman, although I just can't believe that I meet a fisherman so far out here. Or it is a man of war which is doing an irregular kind of search pattern. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, if I look back, like I had been talking about my my granddad, and yeah, he even was a professional soldier. So he joined the army before the war. So he was not a conscript, but actually a professional soldier when the war started. And still, he definitely was not a Nazi. Pretty sure about that. I mean, there are a lot of people who pretended not to being having been a Nazi after the war. They said so, but yeah, I think for my grandfather it's pretty clear. At least this grandfather, the father of my mother. The father of my father actually even was in the party. My father once told me that. And I think he was not a kind of convinced nationalist or something, but yeah, he was in the party for I don't know whatever reason. Yeah, that's not good. I just remember that my father once told me that his father, after the war, stated something like, I will never join any club anymore. So before the war, he must have been quite sociable, and yeah, he was in the hockey club of my hometown, pretty active, and well, also in the party. And well, after the war, he was kind of like cured from any organization. I wouldn't call it cured, but yeah, he was so suspicious that he said I wouldn't join any organization anymore. Yeah, but I don't know much about that grandfather, the father of my father. He died when I was pretty young, like, yeah, 3 or 4 years old. So I have no any, I can't remember anything of him. And yeah, my father just told me a few things about him, and of course it was much more personal to my other granddad, the father of my mother. So he really gave me a bit of an impression of war, what war must have been. Like I said, he wasn't a big storyteller, so over all the years that we were close, it was just very few incidents that he actually told stories about the war, but this kind of really, yeah, got into my memory. So I am actually a bit surprised that this guy is moving that slow. Let's see and go for 1 more hour. So being submerged with the snorkel on, we should go for something like 10 miles within the next 1 hour. Let's go for it. Till 3:30, and then give us the next hydrophone data point of the guy. Of course, it might be that the hydrophone check is pretty unprecise, like I do it with the diesel engines working on snorkel. So now this one here, single contact, and what's the distance? 5 miles. That still looks like, pretty much looks like a fisherman. Well, we will see. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Ah, yes, the Caribbean Legend run. Yeah, nice. Nice that I managed to kind of, yeah, ignite that spark again. Yeah. If you look at the number of watches by now, we have 15 people watching, and so U-Boat is definitely more popular than Caribbean Legend. But I'm sure I'm continue to stream Caribbean Legend now and then. Particularly after today, we were able to lift that secret and got something like, I don't know, 15,000 pesos from a hidden treasure. And I never knew about that one. Yeah, Stadler. I mean, if you look into your further family, of course that fans out. If you look at all the uncles that you have at one point, yeah, you will run into people who probably did not have a In German we would say weiße Weste. Let's carry on for half an hour. Like that. Okay, there seems to be another radio transmission. Let's see what it brings.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Do I really want to send that?
Handelsschiff. Peilung 0 Grad.
Okay, it's a trader. It's a trader. Right ahead of us.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
So here we are. This guy is so slow. Half an hour and he went just something like 2 miles. So that guy is...
Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 285 Grad.
Okay, more contacts.
Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin.
This is Man of War, 2 units. They are still pretty far away, so let's do that dirty job and sink that single merchant and get away before these Men of War there could interfere. What's our distance? 7 miles.
Schraubengeräusche. Handelsschiffe. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung 55 Grad.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice stories. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice to see that back then not all Germans were assholes. But on the other hand, of course, it's like what you said about history. Like, if some mad guys take over, they always find sufficient amount of people who are following them and supporting them. And that's really the bad thing about, yeah, the lesson that we can learn from the Second World War Nazi regime in Germany. Okay, you are still working. I wasn't aware of that. I thought you were already, you already did call it a day, but you are still on your shift, all right. So pretty good. I mean, if I remember right, you're working in a hospital, so if the shift is quiet, that means that the people are fine. Yep. Okay, so when does it stop? 24 hours? Is it from 6 to 6 or?
Handelsschiff. Peilung 25 Grad.
I just know this 3-shift system in industries, but I think it's a bit different probably in a hospital. Okay, from 7 to 7, yeah, which is pretty similar. We are close.
Ja?
Listening to the radio, whatever news might come there. So here we are. They are coming in. What's the time actually? 4 o'clock in the morning, so we have the first hints of daylight. That's good. And there we are. The guy is heading straight for us. We could just hope that it is an unarmed trader so that we can finally, maybe either scare them off the ship or sink them with the deck gun. Company of Heroes. I never played it. I don't even own it, but I think is it one of these top-down strategy games? I mean, where you control a group of special forces whatsoever experts. Real-time strategy. Okay, all right. Yeah, amazing. So that you can do that on your night shift. Okay, maybe at that point I should put away the snorkel and really get on sneaky mission. Yeah, let's now try to be a little bit less noisy. Yeah, radio transmission, no idea what that is about. Yeah, just checked my statistics of the stream. Yeah, great to have you in. People from the UK, Germany, United States, Italy, Russia, Canada, France, Tunisia, Andorra, Switzerland, Slovakia. So welcome all you guys. Of course, I would be very happy to have some comment of yours in the chat, but don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just lurk. Did I say Australia? Yeah, sorry, I think it was Austria and not Australia. So you are in Austria at the moment. Yeah, I remember that you mentioned that. Yep. Now that you say it. Yeah. So, yeah, that was Austria, not Australia. Pretty funny, this kind of close similarity of the name. Yeah, usually we don't have any Australian people in the stream because this is just not the time for them. In Mannheim. Okay, alright. So I thought... Yeah. So that's not far away from my place. I'm living in the Frankfurt area. Rhein-Main. Yeah, the Frankfurt area should be pretty advantageous for streaming, right? Because you have all these servers in the Frankfurt area. I always hope that this gives me some advantage in terms of ping. Yep, that's not far away, yeah.
Alarm.
Dafür haben wir trainiert. Das gemeinsam durchstehen.
So it's Frankfurt, Darmstadt, Mannheim, something like that. But yeah, I wasn't aware that it's that close. So you're living north of Mannheim, aren't you? Yeah, I'm actually working in Frankfurt and I'm living something like 50 kilometers west of Frankfurt. So Frankfurt, Mainz, and a little bit beyond Mainz. Can we? Okay, they say it's a coaster. Oh, that's not good because the coaster is armed. I think. There are a few new ships. Okay, where is the coaster? Liberty, Empire. Okay, we have the coaster now. Yeah, alright. So, now we have two different coasters. And this one is definitely armed. And this one I don't know about. That's new. Yeah, it's Frankfurt. Oh, not Frankfurt. Oder, yeah. Yes. I never mention it, but of course I should. Yeah, the problem is that there is not much of a point in attacking that ship when it is an armed trader. Let's do this little bit of cheating. Can I get close enough to have an eye on that ship?
Schraubengeräusche. Großer Konvoi. Peilung 350 Grad.
Ah, it's one of these new guys. Okay, and here they have two guns there. But that looks pretty much like air guns. It's all more anti-aircraft guns. But that's a small one. They have a shitload of anti-aircraft guns up there. I wonder if it wouldn't make sense to try to sink that one with our deck gun. I'm curious. I think I'm gonna try, and well, if it doesn't work, we can reload.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah. Let's give it a save. And then on the airport, yeah, One of the largest and most central airports of Europe, actually.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Jawohl.
Hey, come on, suddenly the guy's up there now. Alright, now let's see if we can sink that guy. So get to the surface and then, Mr. Schultz, get ready. As soon as we are surfaced, I want you on the deck gun. He's got quite some experience there.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Diesel besetzt. Deckgeschütz besetzt.
So please, go for the deck gun. And show me that you're a good marksman. Please. He's gonna get 3 crewmates to support him.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Funkraum besetzt.
Now let's see if I can convince them to abandon ship. Probably not.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Yeah, they don't have a real deck gun. They mainly have these anti-aircraft guns. So maybe I'm gonna be able to scare them off their ship. Let's see.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Verstanden, betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
So,
Befehle, Herr Kaloi.
open fire, please.
Feuer! Alarm!
Das
Feuer
wird nicht
halten!
einfach, aber wir haben schon
Halten!
Schlimmeres
Feuer!
überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben. Treibe Fahrt voraus.
Feuer halten! Halten! Feuer! Feuer halten! Halten! Feuer!
Maschinen stopp.
Halten! Feuer!
That looks good. That looks good. It's a tiny ship, yep. And they're burning by now.
Feuer halten! Halten! Feuer! Feuer halten! Halten! Feuer!
Ich erwarte.
Feuer halten! Halten! Feuer!
Yeah, they should be going down by now. Yeah, that's such a small vessel. This is, I think, really the smallest vessel I ever ran across. And that's pretty new. So looks like they're going down, aren't they?
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Herr Kapitän?
Ja,
It's not a fishing. It's not a fishing boat. Fishing boats are kind of smaller, and no point in sinking them. But it's still a transport. It's an enemy transport. I didn't check the colors. Come on. I just didn't check the colors. Yeah, it's British, isn't it? It's British.
Sie sinken.
Perfect.
Alarm beenden.
Very good. Very good, Mr. Schulz. Thank you very much.
Navigation besetzen. Funkraum besetzen.
Okay, let's report that. What about the exotic fruits? I don't think that I have inventory space left to have exotic fruits, but what about the survivors?
Funktelegramm gesendet.
That ship, that was just two guys. 2 guys on that ship. All right. Okay, that was a small one. It just didn't bring us to the 50,000 border. It's still 900 tons missing. Okay, all right.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, but better than nothing. Old Daisy saying better than nothing. Let's go. Only 900 tons left, yep.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Herr Kaloy?
Mr. Schulz, please care for the map.
Position besetzen.
And on we go. That's almost nothing, yeah. That was such a tiny ship. And that's new. So that only came with, where are we? April 44. You wouldn't encounter that kind of ship earlier in the war. Okay, when do we...
Signale geortet. Peilung 50 Grad.
...50 degrees. Like that. So I fear that is Aptroad. So let's get back to periscope depth and then rig the snorkel. Yeah, to run into a massive tanker. A lone tanker, that would be it right now.
Halbe Fahrt. Voraus. Herr Kaloy, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert. Auf ihn.
Yeah. No torpedoes left, so right now I would prefer to just get back to my home port.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
And yeah, get the snorkel up.
Schraubengeräusche. Handelsschiffe. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung 20 Grad.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm gonna ignore you guys.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
No eels left. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please share your torpedoes with me. That would be great. Aqua icing, yeah, that was a typical remark of aqua icing, yeah. Gonna go into a convoy and just ramming them. I actually did that once and it didn't go well, to put it like that. I think I still have quite a bit of ammo left for the gun. It was just a few rounds that I fired to actually sink that guy. Oh, hey, look at that. Obviously, I did fire all the rounds. Interesting. So, I sank that guy with the last round I had. No deck gun ammo left. Wasn't aware that was that close.
Schraubengeräusche. Handelsschiffe. Mittlere Gruppe.
Yeah, only option. Besides going back to port, yep. A bottle of Lambrusco, yeah, very good choice. So I'm just about having a bottle of, let me see, what is it? It's Grauburgunder, Grey Burgundy. Yeah. Since all these last 7 or 8 years I'm living in a wine area. So while I grew up in a beer area, actually, culturally, now since 7 or 8 years I'm living in a wine area and I think I did kind of convert it to it. So here we still go with the snorkel. Let's see that we get safely back home with that one. Hey Colin, nice to have you in. Yep. Yeah, ramming a merchantman is really not a good idea. You would usually be the loser of that duel. Yep. Yeah, thank you for that comment. That's pretty realistic, I think. By the way, Colin, nice to have you in. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Saturday. Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of scribbling on my map. That's actually because, yeah, I'm playing on pretty high difficulty level, which means I don't have the enemy marked on the map, so I have to do all this marking by myself. And yeah, I find it pretty cool if it looks like that, but you're right. At least, or latest for the next mission, I'm gonna have to clear that to get a bit of an overview. Perfectly correct. So let's get all these markings away. And let's just get back home. Yeah, well, that was old contacts which were not relevant anymore. So I just don't need to make sense of that scribbling. And yeah, in principle you were right, I could just delete it for now. Let's give it another save. And getting back home. Yes, yep. Startler.
Kleine Gruppe, Peilung 300 Grad.
Man of War 300 degrees. Okay, let's see.
Herr Kapitän,
That's them, yep, moving away. Let's just ignore them. We don't even have any deck gun shells left. We fired our last deck gun shell to sink that guy.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Sie ist als erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Schraubengeräusche. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung
Kondensstreifen.
20 Grad.
Peilung 30 Grad. Alarm! Flugzeug in Sicht. Peilung 50 Grad.
wozu ein U-Boot in der Lage ist.
Alright, so could they actually spot my snorkel and the smoke being amended? This is actually the question.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Are they actually able to locate me? With the crane, yeah. Okay, I don't see any contrail. Contrail spotted, yeah. But yeah, let's stay in the hiding. And let me be AFK just for 1 minute. Right. So back again. Thanks for your patience. Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of crafting in Caribbean Legend. You just have to find the recipes, yeah. Yeah, the paper cartridges, that's it. Hey Colin, so was there an alarm when I was AFK? So, alarm disabled, normal snorkel. So there should be no trouble. I hope. And just get back home on the straight line.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 325 Grad.
That's pretty close. Yeah, let's just hope that we are gonna avoid that. And just go straight ahead. Ah, okay, all right. Yeah, cheers.
Konvoi in Sicht. Peilung 15 Grad. Los geht's, Männer. Lasst uns einige Schiffe versenken.
Yeah, but I thought that contrail was a while ago. Ah, come on. Come on, I don't need that convoy right now.
Alle Maschinen, stopp!
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Yeah, that should just pass by in front of me.
Ja?
Come on, let them just pass by, please.
Alarm beenden.
Yeah, it's getting nighttime by now. 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, the sun has set in the west. So maybe I would just put my course a little bit more southerly for now.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Go halbe Fahrt and avoid these guys, hopefully.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Kondensstreifen. Peilung 270 Grad. Alarm! Flugzeug im Anflug.
Eure Ausbildung.
Peilung
Bleibt ruhig und
270 Grad.
Wir werden siegen.
Alarm beenden. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Funkraum besetzen.
Let's give these reports.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
All right, let's go.
Raumgeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 315 Grad. Herr Kaloi?
Yeah, I just want to get away. No deck gun rounds left, no torpedoes left, so we are just getting back home, please.
Heizpumpe einschalten.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 235 Grad. Schraubengeräusche. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung 230 Grad.
Schraubengeräusche. Großer Konvoi. Peilung 200 Grad.
Hey, we just want to go back home. And we are running into all that convoys. All these convoys right now. I just want to get back home and get accounted for the kills that we got. We don't have any torpedoes left. We don't have any deck gun rounds left.
Schraubengeräusche. Handelsschiffe. Mittlere Gruppe. Peilung 230 Grad.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt.
Yeah, let's see if we can get back home unmolested.
Schraubengeräusche. Großer Konvoi. Peilung 170 Grad.
Yeah, 170 degrees, that's
Herr Kaloin,
just doesn't matter.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
endlich ein paar Stunden Pause.
Mr. Schultz, please take care that we keep navigational correctness.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
On the way back home to La Rochelle.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
On we go back home. The crew probably been pretty eager.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Kondensstreifen. Peilung 15 Grad. Alarm. Flugzeug in
Denkt
Sicht.
alle an eure
Peilung.
Ausbildung. Bleibt ruhig und konzentriert.
Could they really have detected us in the darkness? Okay, so finally you got those external torpedoes inside. So you're not sailing the Type 7. The Type 7 only has 2 external torpedoes, so I guess I'm not that experienced with the Type 9, but maybe the Type 9 has more external torpedoes.
Alarm beenden.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
The Type 9 has, wow, 10 externals, yep. That's quite a bit.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, I think that last action that you had, Stadler, was sinking these escorts, right?
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, so it's getting late. Right here, let's give it another save. And yeah, sorry guys, but I have to go to bed. I have to turn in. It's really getting late around here now. It's approaching 3 o'clock. And so we had a stream of almost 3 hours. Perfectly fine. Thank you for joining. Aqua Icing, yeah, it was a pleasure to have you in. Stadler, thank you very much. We had a beautiful kind of discussion. Weight loss, it's always a pleasure to have you in. And Colin, that was particularly great that you dropped in. Let's see, who else did we have? Yep, if you're still there. Great that you dropped in. And Nico, yeah, Nico went to bed or went off stream, so it was great to have you in, Nico, but I think you're not in anymore. All right, guys. Pretty great to have you. Hey, Captain Jimbo. Hey, good night. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, sea power. Yeah, I actually got sea power 2 weeks ago, but I'm not yet kind of committed to it. It didn't convince me yet. I think it's a great game, but yeah, it's always this problem about new games. You always need a bit of kind of commitment and invest time to understand how it works, and I have to admit that for Sea Power up to now I didn't yet have that patience to really dive into it. Although I think it is a great game. Yeah, so guys, good night, and Captain Jimbo, that was great to have you in. So, see you maybe tomorrow. Bye bye, guys.